Namaste. Today, let us learn about the classification of Vata dosha. But before that, let us take an example to make it more relatable. Consider a human being having different roles to play in his life, and all those roles comes with different responsibilities. For example, he could be a son or a brother or a father or a friend, or in some places, based on the passion he has, he might be called as an artist or a teacher or a physician. But at the end, he is the same person. This happens with doshas as well. Doshas are always three, considering their basic nature and qualities. But then it is recognized differently in different parts of the body. To be precise, each dosha behaves accurately but differently in different areas of the body where it is exactly situated as per the need. So let us start with understanding Pranavata first. So Acharya Vagbhata said, Pranotra murdhagah urah kanthacharo buddhi hridayendriya chitta dhrik sthivana kshavathodgara nishwasanna praveshakrit. Now, what does this mean? When we look into the classification of Vata dosha, there is something which is very peculiar to be noted in all the 5 classification of Vata dosha. And that is about Avasthiti Sthana and Vicharana Sthana. Avasthiti Sthana is the sthana where Vata is said to be exposing itself for a very long period of time. And this could be understood with an example of when it is early morning, bird starts flying away from its nest. Similarly, when it becomes darker, it comes back to its own nest. So this also could be understood in the same way. Next is about Vicharana Sthana. Vicharana Sthana is the sthana where the dosha is said to be moving with a particular direction. It is said that Prano atra murdhagaha. So the avasthiti sthana of Pranavata is said to be murdha or shiras. Next is about Vicharana sthana, that is Uraha Kantha Charaha. So the movement of Pranavata happens in the spaces of Uras as well as Kantha. So in total, when we observe the direction of Pranavata, it could be seen as Uraha, Kantha and Shiras. So this particular area could be said as the working space of Pranavata. So there are some karmas of Pranavata, that is Buddhi Hridayendriya Chitta Dhrik. That means Buddhyadi Dharanam. So the dharana of Buddhi, that is retaining the power of Buddhi or the power of Viveka. Next is Hridaya Dharana. It is responsible for the physiological mechanisms of Hridaya. Next is Indriya Dharana. That is, it helps in the perception of Indriyarthas, or it helps the Indriyas to work with precision. Next is Chitta Dharana. That is, it helps in the working capacity of the Manas. Pranavata is also responsible for Sthivana Kshavathodgara Nishwasanna Praveshakrit. That means Sthivana, that is Mukhasrava. Pranavata is responsible for the secretions which happens in the oral cavity. Kshavathu, that is sneezing. Udgara, that is belching. Nishwasa, that is Shwasasya Sharirantav Praveshanam. That means inhalation. Anna Praveshakrit, for consumption of Anna, also Pranavata is said to be responsible. Next is about Udanavata. Acharya Vagbhata said, Urasthanamudhanasya nasanaabhigalamschcharet Vagpravritti prayatnorja balavarna smriti kriyah. So there are some karmas for which Udanavata is said to be responsible. They are Vagpravritti prayatnorja balavarna smriti kriyah. So the first one is Vagpravritti, that is initiating the speech activity. Next is Prayatna, that is Utsahaha or Karyeshu Padartha Grahanadishu Udyamaha, or having this initiation towards achieving something. Next is about Urja, that is Prananam, or having that willingness to achieve something. That is more about the mental strength. Next is bala, that is sharirika bala or having strength. Next is about varna or complexion. Smriti kriyaha, that is about the memory power. Next, let us understand Vyanavata. Acharya Vagbhata said, Vyano hridi stitah kritsna dehachari mahajavah गत्यपक्षेपणोत्क्षेप निमेषोन्मेषणादिकाः प्रायः सर्वाः क्रियास्तस्मिन् प्रतिबद्धाः शरीरिणाम्. Vyano hridisthitah kritsnadehachari. That means Hridaya is said to be the avasthiti sthana of Vyanavata. Kritsnadehachari, that is Vicharana sthana of Vyanavata, is said to be the whole Sharira. Next it is said as Mahajavaha. There is a specific quality of Vyanavata which is said as Mahajavaha, that is Shigragatihi. So Shigragati is about the comparison with all other classification of Vata. Vyanavata is said to be having quick action. There are some karmas for which Vyanavata is said to be responsible. They are Gatyapakshepanotkshep nimeshonmeshanadikaha. That means Gatihi, that is Chankramanam or any kind of movement. Vyanavata is said to be responsible. Next is Apakshepanam, that is Angasya Adhonayanam, that is downward movement of the body or body parts. Utshepanam, that is Angasya Urdhvanayanam or upward movement of the body or body parts. Nimeshaha, that is Akshnor Nimilanam, that is closing of the eyelids. That is also a fine movement. Next is about Unmeshaha, Tayor Vikasaha, that is opening of the eyelids. Adikaha, there are some other karmas which is mentioned as Jrimbhana, Annaswadana, Vishodhana. All these karmas can be understood in the same context of Vyanavata. So next is about Samanavata. Acharya Vagbhata said, Samanogni samipastah koshthe charati sarvatah annam grinhati pachati vivechayati munchati. Samano agni samipastah koshthe charati sarvatah. So that means Agni Samipa or Grahani could be understood as the avasthiti sthana of Samanavata. Now, Koshthe Charati Sarvataha, that means the whole Koshtha is considered as the Vicharana sthana of Samanavata. There are some karmas of Samanavata which is said as Annam Grinhati, Pachati, Vivechayati, Munchati. So when we look at these four karmas, it is similar like that of a chain reaction. If the first action fails, then the consecutive action also gets hampered. So the first one is Annam Grinhati. So Samanavata is responsible for Grahana of Anna. So here it is said that Apakvam Amashaye Dharayati Ityartaha. It is the power of retaining the Apakva Anna in the Amashaya for a specific period of time. Next is Pachati, that is Agni Sandhukshanat Bhaktakara Iva. That means it helps in the digestion or it helps in the paka of the consumed food article. Then again it comes back to the normalcy by retaining the Agni for the next meal which is yet to come. Next is about Vivechayati, that is Samhatamannam Pakaya Vibhajate. So the Samhata Anna or the complexed food articles will be divided as per Sarabhaga as well as Kittabhaga. So this is for the purpose of the Dhatu Poshana as well as expelling the Kittabhaga. Next is Munchati, that is Shakran Mutradi Rupam Adaha. That means Samanavata gives away this food particles, that is converted itself into malas in the form of Shakrit as well as Mutra to the next Vata, that is Apanavata. So here it is said that Annasya Grahanam Grihitva Pachanam Paktva Sarakitta Vivechanam Vivichya Kittavamochanam cha karma. So that means Samanavata is responsible for receiving the food and then it helps in the Pachana or the Paka karma and After the Paka, it helps in the division of the food in the form of Sarabhaga and Kittabhaga. The Sarabhaga will be nourishing the Dhatu and Kittabhaga will be expelled out of the body. Next is about Kittava Mochana, that is giving away this part of Mala to the next Vata, that is Apana Vata. So even though Vata is said to be residing in the place of Grahani, it is placed in such a way that it is not hampering the karma of Agni or Grahani. So next is about Apana Vata. Acharya Vagbhata said, Apanopanaga shroni basti medhrorugocharaha Shukrartavashakrinmutra garbhanishkramana kriyaha. Here it is said that Apanopanaga shroni basti medhrorugocharaha. So that means Apana Kshetra is considered to be the Avasthiti Sthana of Apanavata. Shroni, Basti, Medhra as well as Uru is considered to be the Vicharana Sthana of Apanavata. So there are some specific karmas of Apanavata, that is Shukrartava Shakrinmutra Garbhanishkramana Kriyaha, that is expelling out of Shukra and Artava, Shakrita, Mutra as well as Garbha. So all these karmas are held responsible by Apanavata. That's all for today. Namaste.